Welcome back, college baseball fans. I'm joined by Wake Forest pitcher Matthew Dallas. Matthew, thank you so much for taking the time to come on. How are you doing?
Good, man. I appreciate you asking me.
Absolutely. We're going to jump right into it. We're going to talk a little bit about your college journey overall. Obviously, you started at Tennessee, had a pretty good freshman year there. Not a ton of freshmen get a chance to play a ton there, and yet you were a somewhat key piece out of the bullpen.
Yeah, it was an awesome experience. Growing up, you always want to go play at a big school like that. So, it was an awesome experience for sure. Very blessed.
You grew up in Tennessee. Did you grow up a Tennessee Volunteers fan of in sports or anything like that, or was it just kind of the school that you just wanted to go to initially with that reputation and the coaching staff?
Yeah, it's more the reputation. We never grew up like any SEC fan or anything like that. Like, yeah, we're Memphis fans, because I'm from Memphis, but other than that, we never really had another school that we really rooted for. We just always wanted to go to wherever we could.
Love that. You didn't pitch in Omaha, but did you get the opportunity to go and experience that national championship run?
No, after the regional.
Gotcha. Well, you chose Wake Forest, and you got to be a starter. All 14-year appearances were starts. You started off really well and then kind of went through a rough patch and then ended up rebounding down the stretch. Can you talk a little bit about that, the adversity, and how you were able to kind of rebound down the stretch and find your form again?
Yeah, it all started with just pick shapes, just started, blending together. And, there's some outings where I was tipping pitches and stuff like that. So everything that could go wrong was going wrong. And, me and Moose and like the pitching coordinator kind of just sat down and trying to figure some stuff out. Like, what could I do to get back to the weekend rotation and stuff like that. And, couldn't really find anything. And then he called me at like 11 o'clock one night and was like, "Hey, let's try the sidearm thing out. Like, you always mess around with it, so let's try it out." I was like, "All right, sounds good." So the next day we went to the field and, started trying to throw sidearm, and then it kind of just clicked. I think that was the biggest part that I was able to rebound with, is just finding something different. Not many guys throw over the top and sidearm, just over the top now. I haven't thrown sidearm, but that was something I needed to do to get back onto the rotation. And we created a whole arsenal within a few days of sidearm and kept over top. So it really allowed me to start a new leaf and get back out there and help my team.
Love that. Like, what kind of a mental toll does that take, though? Because you're trying all sorts of different things, and you've still got to try to find a way to stay upbeat and confident, right? Because otherwise, you can't pitch with conviction.
Yeah, that's the hardest part, is when I had like my few game stretch of like just getting shelled every game, and it was just like, what the heck am I doing? So it's hard. Like, that's the hardest part about it. That's the hardest part about college sports, is like having the mental toughness to stay in the game and stuff like that. But you always just got to go back to like how you're there and like how you got there, and like what are your main beliefs and stuff like that. So you just always gotta have confidence in yourself. Everybody's gonna go through rough patches, but as long as you're confident in yourself, like, you'll always get through it for sure.
Absolutely. Now, you come up with a signature moment in the regional. Before we talk about that, you get Knoxville, which you're going back to Knoxville as a Wake Forest Union Deacon. How kind of cool was that kind of experience, getting to go back to Tennessee to experience a regional with Wake Forest?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Watching the selection show was pretty funny because, we had a few teams where we thought we were going, and just one by one, it was pass, pass, pass. And everybody was like, hold up, like, this is getting weird. And then Tennessee Regional shows up, and everybody was like, snap. Like, there's a few guys yelling my name and whatever. And then they called our name, and everybody went crazy. Like, a lot of people were like laughing and saying my name and stuff like that. It was a pretty cool moment. Wish we could have done more in there, but it was pretty cool going back.
Oh yeah, I thought what you guys were able to do after losing that opening game, which is so tough, you guys were able to battle back and actually get to a winner-take-all game with Tennessee, which is not easy to do when you've lost the first game of a regional. Obviously, come up just short, but you had a major impact in that because you pitched in an elimination game and went 7 2/3, 115 pitches, got the W, battled. I mean, that must have been huge. I mean, I know you had some really good starts on the year, but that one with everything on the line, that's got to be probably like the best start you had all year, right?
Yeah, it was the best start probably of my life. I mean, it was just one of those things that we're just going to attack every hitter. Kind of the game plan going into it was basically to see how many hits we could give up. Just attack hitters, don't walk anybody. And if they hit me, they hit me. We had nothing to lose at that point. I mean, we had to beat Tennessee twice, and we were in an elimination game, so we're automatically already the underdog, whoever wins it. And so we kind of just went in to try to throw everything down the middle. So that was kind of the goal, and whatever happens after that happens. And I mean, it kind of worked out for me. I had a good game, and was able to sneak one more against Tennessee, and then we lost, and it is what it is. But I feel like we had a pretty good run.
I absolutely do. I felt because I was in Clemson and I was paying attention to you guys and I was like, oh no, after you lost the first one, I was really worried about that second game, and then you guys bounced back and kept going, and I was like, oh, maybe they might do it. I was really proud of the way you guys fought. Let's go back to talking about Wake Forest. What made Wake Forest the right fit for you when you decided to transfer from Tennessee?
Just strictly development. I wanted to go somewhere where I knew that the coaches had my back 24/7, and that they were going to get me to the highest point I can in pro ball. And, I wanted to go to a place where I could develop and get stronger, add some weight, and like work on more mechanic stuff and like that. And so, yeah, I had a bunch of schools reach out, like in a portal, but after just touring Wake and seeing all that they had and that they could do for me, there's just no doubt about it.
Yeah, and you mentioned Moose already. He's just so good with pitchers, and I'm sure that played a factor. You've obviously got a new pitching coach now, and Eric Nielsen, who has major league experience. What's the transition between the pitching coaches been like so far?
Oh, it's been very smooth. Neeson and his group have been nothing but the best so far. We're very blessed to have them. I think they've helped us a lot for sure. And I think they bring a really good attitude about it, like knowing that like everything is different for us of what they're doing. And so they're very relaxed and very good at the communication part of making sure that like, hey, is there something, if we don't want to do it, talk to them, let's figure out another way or something else that we could do. So they've been nothing but the best for sure.
Absolutely, and the pitching lab is something that Wake Forest always talked about. Obviously, it was a big thing during their Omaha run a couple of years before you were there. How is that kind of benefited in it? I know it's more of kind of I'm trying to remember what Moose's term was it, but it's not just strictly like a place. There's a mindset involved in how you go about things. How's the pitching lab kind of helped with that, with your development?
It's everything as a pitcher, having every like number that you could ever think of, and all the edutronics and everything like that. I mean, it's a pitcher's dream to have a place like this, and so I feel like that's been like the biggest key to my success so far, and like the gains I've made this far already is like that itself. And it's not just about like the lab is awesome to have, but the people who run it, and all of the people behind the scenes that can help us with the data and help us like figure some tweaks out that could get us better because of the lab. Like that helps a lot too. So it's not just the lab, it's everything, and it's everything like in general. And it's a great facility for all of us pitchers to mess around in and have a good time. So it's been that's the biggest like recruiting thing as a pitcher is coming into Wake and like, hey, we have this lab, like there's everything you can possibly need in here as a pitcher. So I feel like that was the main reason why I wanted to go to Wake, was because they have all the resources and stuff like that. So the lab's been a huge blessing.
Absolutely. And, I've seen it with number of pitchers who come down into Wake Forest. And even if they're good, somebody like Chase Burns, who was already elite, taking that next step once he had all that data is really, you got that established history kind of backing up what you're seeing. So that's always a plus, right?
Yeah.
What are the vibes heading into fall practice? Obviously, you guys didn't necessarily finish the way you wanted to, but you guys played, fought to the end. But what are the vibes coming into fall practice?
Oh, it's been awesome. I mean, all the guys are getting along like great. I feel like this is like one of the closer teams that we've had in a while, like as a bond. It's hard with new freshmen and transfers and stuff like that. Getting them to buy in like really quick is always hard, especially for me. Like last year, it's hard to come into a whole new place and call it family immediately. But they've been awesome. I mean, everybody's been awesome. All the upperclassmen have helped so much. It's really exciting. We had a great practice today. I'm really excited about it for sure.
Yeah, you mentioned there's a lot of impressive freshmen and transfers coming in. I'm curious to hear if any of them have really. I mean, I'm sure they're all impressive and looking great, but is there anybody that's really stood out, and really kind of just blown you away?
Blake Shaft, he's been awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, he's gonna be a huge part of our team. You have Boston. He's hurt right now, but he's been awesome. They're gonna be two huge bats for us, and hope will depend on that bunch. And then pitching wise, every pitcher can help us. It's just the guys who are gonna, at the end of the day, throw strikes and get outs are gonna pitch. But I could see every freshman pitching this year. So it's very intriguing to see like how we're gonna end up being. But from a pitching standpoint, I think we're way more depth here than we were last year. So I'm very interested to see how it is because I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see about that group of sophomores as well, especially after Reese Bowie and Nate Wysong and Duncan Marston did really well up on the Cape. I saw Duncan Marston is throwing up near 97, 98 on the fastball. So you got Chris Lavonis, Cam Bagwell's in there. I mean, it's got to be really exciting to this group of pitchers. It just seems like you guys have a ton of depth.
No, for sure. And feels like everybody when we're just like messing around, we look at and we're like, dude, he's a stud. Like everybody's a stud here. So it helps the hitters. If we're able to keep the runs down low, and everybody that comes on the mound, like everybody has confidence in it now. So it's going to be really good.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny because I mentioned all those names, and yet you and Blake Morningstar are coming back for the weekend rotation, which is huge. So you've got all these great names behind you as well. There's so many options. I'm really liking the way Wake Forest is kind of put themselves together. Yeah, no, I really like the way Wake Forest has put themselves together. I think not enough people are talking about you guys after what is left. But I think the additions and the development of guys is going to be really impressive. Yeah, I know we kind of touched on this a second ago, but who on the team do you think has the best chance to have a breakout season?
So I think Dalton Wentz is still going to have like he had a great season last year, but I think that's just cracking the surface for this guy. I mean, he's already touched me up a few times in practice, so I haven't gotten this dude out yet. I think he's going to be a huge part of us. I think him and Cade are going to be the two bats that we're going to depend on a bunch. So I can see them being a huge part of our lineup and really being like the main point, like the Merrick of last year or the Conrad of last year. I feel like that's going to be them this year for sure.
Love that. Yeah, Dalton Wentz, who should have been all ACC freshman, somehow was not on that list. Just wanted to throw that out there because I thought that was ridiculous. But um, what are you most excited about the team heading into this fall, or as you progress through the fall?
Yeah, I just think our chemistry has been awesome. Like we're really preaching this year of like the closer we are, the better we're gonna be. And so everybody's been buying in like awesome. I feel like looking around like during practice, I feel like everybody's gotten better since last year. I feel like all the hitters have gotten better, all the pitchers that are back this year, stuff is better. And so it's just awesome to see that everybody's made improvements from last year. So I'm really excited about how we're gonna perform this year.
Love that. You guys are having a lot more. It's more fun, more loose.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Absolutely
You
love that.
got
All right,
the game's already hard enough.
absolutely. It's funny because it works perfectly because that's kind of the end of our serious questions. Now we get to some fun stuff. So we're going to get a little fun and loose here. We're going to do some superlatives starting with the team class clown. Who is the team class clown?
Matt Conti.
I've actually
Matt
heard that
Conti.
before. I love that. I've heard that before. I'm looking forward
100%.
to
Yeah.
hearing more about his personality. How about a glue guy?
It's got to be Will Ray. I mean, he's been in
Oh,
the
yeah.
game for a few years now. It's got to be Will Ray. I think he's seen it all. and he knows it all. So I think he's going to be a really big part of, that upperclassmen of leading those freshmen and leading the transfers and stuff like that, and showing them how we do it at Wake Forest.
I love that. Will Ray, I'm glad he's coming back. He was who I interviewed for Wake Forest last year in the fall. Fantastic interview. He's a funny guy. How about a nerd? Who's the team nerd?
Team nerd. Oh gosh. You gotta give me a second on this one.
Oh, no worries.
I'm gonna say a sneaky Nate Weissong.
All right.
I feel like he can be a pretty smart guy.
Love that. Love that. All right. How about best dressed?
I'm gonna go back to Matt Conti with that. So I feel like he's always putting on something. Him or Dalton Wentz. I feel like there's a tie right there.
All right. Let's say I'm in Winston-Salem. What's the local food staple?
Right now, for me, it's been Sin Burger. Sin Burger's been the best burger spot I've ever been to.
Love that. Love that. I will be trying that out. I think I'm seeing you guys in your scrimmage on the 26th, so that might be a stop for me. Toughest absolutely. I'm writing it down. Toughest hitter you faced last year?
I got no idea on that one.
No worries. All right, let's talk about your game day routine and do you have any fun superstitions or serious superstitions to when you're preparing for your start?
Yeah, I think it started becoming like, so it started off like every morning I would have I'd go to Cracker Barrel for my breakfast, like for the day I pitch. And then sometimes, like through the late half of the year, it started to be like a steak at lunch. So every like game I pitch, I had a steak. So it was always changing a little bit, and obviously you can never step on the white line. That's always a thing. So I think those were the main three last year.
I love that. The fact that two of them are food related speaks to my heart. I think there should be some more food related superstitions. What about a walkout music?
I've done Run This Town since I was in high school, so I'm gonna stay with it this year. And Will Ray was doing our music the other day for our scrimmage, and he played it while I was like throwing. I was like, good. It brought me back jitters. So yeah, I'm gonna stay with that one.
There you go. Love that. All right. How about favorite MLB players to emulate or watch?
I think Mackenzie Gore. I think he's been more of like the one I'm hot on. But it's always good to watch the greats of like the Clayton Kershaws, the DeGroms, and all those guys. Like I think it's always like awesome to watch those guys. And then like now you got the new guys, the Paul Skeens and Crochet and those. Everybody asks like what's my comp and stuff, and I'm just like I like to watch every pitcher pitch because everybody's different now. So
absolutely. Favorite ballpark besides your own?
I'm gonna say FSU because of their fans and like the atmosphere. I feel like they had their band at one of our games, and it was one of the most cool spots I've ever been in. So it was pretty cool.
I don't know if you saw, but in their regional, they faced Mississippi State, and Mississippi State fans were complaining that FSU's crowd was too loud. I don't know if you saw that.
It gets loud. Yeah.
Yeah, it cracks me up. Yeah, I'm like, don't you guys bring cowbells to games? Those are kind of loud. Like,
yeah.
But anyway, that's going to do it. Thank you so much for coming on. Do you have anything else you want to share before I let the audience go?
Go Deeks.
Yep, absolutely. We'll be back in a couple days with another interview. Thanks again, Matthew. But until then, go Deeks.
Thank you.